Right, welcome to the exploration meeting. This is a guide as to how we can work you through the efficient portfolio process. The main aim of today is to really get an understanding of your current situation, understand what's important to you in the future, but also to make sure you understand how efficient portfolio work and how we can help you go through that process. So before we start, it would be useful just to get a brief summary of why you need financial planning help.
Okay, just so that we have more security going forward, so that we can start to plan things more with what we want to do, and just possible areas at which we can maybe retire.
Okay, fantastic, that's brilliant. So in order to go through that process, the first thing I'm going to do with you is go through this, some of the information in this pack, because this will allow me to explain how we work. So in the first, in this pack, I'm going to show you exactly what's in it, but I'm going to use this one document to explain all the other documents that are in there and pick out the key points that are there.
Okay.
But just, I want to show you what's in the pack just so that you know what we've got. So we've got our client services brochure, you've got our key facts document and client agreement, and you've also got 2 or 3 other forms that we may or may not need. As I say, we can use this form to explain everything else, that all the important points are in the other documents. So I'm going to give you that to take away. So in this pack, the first page covers the 2 most important points. The first point being we're authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. We're authorised directly with them, so we're not through a network or any of that sort of approach. And the second thing is that we give truly independent financial planning. Now, what I mean by that, what I mean by truly independent, I'll come back to in a minute. But by independent, what that means is we're not tied to any number of companies. We can give you advice on the whole market that's out there. Okay? We're a chartered financial planning firm. That puts us about the top 7% of all advisory firms in the UK. Personally, I'm a chartered financial planner, which again puts me at about the top 10% of all advisors in the country. Now, one of the things that we do quite differently to most of our competitors is that we focus on financial planning rather than financial advice. Now, what I mean by that is that I could find you lots and lots of people out there that could sell you a pension or could sell you an ISA, but much fewer that could design and build you a proper financial plan. And by that, what I mean is when we really understand the resources you have available to you today, what your goals and priorities are for the future, the time frames we've got available, and the amount of risk that you're willing to take in those areas. And I believe only once we've designed a plan with all that in mind, can we start to tell you which is the most appropriate type of investment to use and which is the most appropriate type of retirement planning strategy to use. So it will very much be driven by financial planning first, and then product and financial advice second. Probably the most commonly asked question in this meeting is how we get paid, so we may as well cover that fairly early on. In our industry, there's really 2 ways that you can pay for advice. There's working on a fee basis, which is the same way you work with your accountant or your solicitor. And then there's something that tends to muddy the water a little bit, which is known as commission. Now, with commission, you still pay for the cost of the advice, but you pay through the charges of a contract that's been recommended. So in other words, you might pay an extra £10 a month in charges instead of a £1,000 fee, but either way, you need to be absolutely clear you're paying for the cost of the advice. Now, we work on a fee basis, and we have done for the last 9 years, and we do that for 2 main reasons. First reason is that we think that's the only way you can give truly independent advice. That means our fees are always exactly the same, regardless of the type of solution that we recommend. And the second thing is that we want to cover all the areas of your financial planning that are important to you. So that might include wills, trusts, tax planning, deposit-based savings. None of those things pay a commission, so they tend to get forgotten and ignored by most of our industry. But by working on a fee basis, we can incorporate all of those different features. Probably the 2 most important things to remember when working with us on a fee basis are, first is that you'll never pay a fee that you weren't expecting. So before we do any work that's going to incur a fee, we'll want your permission to proceed on that basis. And the second thing is that if during our advice process we need to put in place a product that does generate a commission, that commission is yours to do whatever you want with. Now, most of our clients will use that to offset some or all of our fee, But at the end of the day, it's your money. It's entirely up to you how you pay those fees. They'll remain exactly the same regardless of which way you choose. But we understand that there's certain cash flow benefits in terms of using commission to offset fees. We also understand there's certain tax benefits to doing it too. So as part of our strategy building for you, we'll build your strategy on the best and most cost-effective way of paying out fees. As I say, they'll still remain the same. It's entirely up to you how you pay them, but we'll tell you what we think is the best way to do it. Okay? Just a snapshot of how we see the UK from a tax perspective. You've got the lower earners paying 20% tax. You've then got the Jimmy Carrs and the Gary Barlows of this world paying something similar to that. And it's the guys that are stuck in the middle that end up on 40, 50 and even sometimes 60% tax, the way we see the greatest planning opportunities. So that's where we focus most of our attention. And the last page of this pack is really about the process that we lead each client through. So, as I said, today's meeting is really about understanding your situation, you understanding us, and then spending quite a bit of time understanding what's important in the future. And we'll go through a number of exercises to try and open that up. If at the end of today's meeting you want advice from us, then we'll go away and package that all up together in a bespoke financial plan that we call the Efficient Financial Plan. There will be a fee to do that work, and I'll be able to tell you at the end of today's meeting what that fee is, just as soon as I know what's involved. Well, we offer a 100% money back guarantee on that fee. So if you were to get the plan and you were to think that I'm talking a load of nonsense and you wish you hadn't bothered, just tell us, no questions asked, we'll give you your money back. Touch wood, nobody's ever asked for their money back, but there'll be a first at some point, I'm sure. So, included in the Efficient Financial Plan, there'll be three main things covered or addressed. There'll be analysis on your existing planning, so we'll do an audit on any existing financial planning to see whether it's worth keeping or whether it needs changing. We'll then make our recommendations and approach going forward, so that's the main part of the financial plan. And then there'll be the best way, the most cost-effective way of implementing each of those ideas. Once you've had a chance to read the plan, we'll send it to you both electronically and as a bound document. Once you have a chance to read it in the comfort of your own home, what we'll then do is we'll book a planning meeting so that we can go through the long list of questions you'll inevitably have. If we built a cash flow forecast, and I'll explain more about those later on, then we will get that up on the screen so we can look at different scenarios. But we'll just get you to the point of that planning meeting where you've got all your questions answered, you understand all of our recommendations, and you can make a decision as to whether you want to implement some or all of the ideas that we've proposed. At that point, if you do want to implement any of those ideas, my team will do all the legwork involved in that, and they'll organise all of that for you. That can be where the process ends if you wanted to, and we can kind of drift apart and you can shout at us the next time you need help if that's the way you want to work. But our existing clients tell us they get the greatest value of what we do out of what we do for them thereafter. So if you want to become one of our ongoing clients, we'll make sure we see you regularly, sending you regular investment updates, perhaps keeping a cash flow forecast up to date, all of those sorts of things. So we offer a number of tiers of ongoing service so that you can pick a level that's appropriate to your specific situation and needs. So that's the process that we lead each client through. Any questions with any of that? No? Okay, fantastic. So you've already completed your Portfolio Explorer, thank you for that. So what I need to do now is to just run through that with you and fill in any gaps. So you've done a good job, you've filled in most of the details that we've asked for, we've clarified things about salary, that's all fine. You've got 2 children, we can see that, and some life insurance, and you've given us all the details there, that's really good. Pensions, you've got there, that's fine. Is this one still being paid into, or is this now paid up?
Paid up.
Okay, brilliant. You've given us details on the ISAs and investment bonds, that's fantastic, and also some direct shares and some savings as well. And the property, I can see there as well, that's fantastic. You say you've got a will. Does that involve any trusts, or is it just a straightforward will?
It's just a straightforward will that was
Right.
written about 4 years ago.
Okay, is it still fairly up to date, or have things changed significantly since then?
There have been changes since then.
Okay, brilliant, we'll come back to that. No health problems, that's fantastic. Well, this you've done, and the expenditure, that's brilliant. and you've said that you're not necessarily expecting to receive any inheritances in the near future, no specific increases or decreases, no anticipation of making gifts, and no other significant changes. I think that's brilliant. So what I'd like to do now that we understand everything about your current situation, we need to look to the future a bit more. So what I would like you to do is to answer the following question, if you would. Imagine that you had all the money that you needed to be financially secure for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
How would you live your life differently?
Much more time together as a family.
Yeah.
Just experiencing new and different things.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're probably there.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so to think about this in a different way, imagine you went to see your doctor and your doctor says that you've got between 5 and 10 years left to live. Now you're not going to feel sick during this time, but also you're not going to know when your time is up. How would you live your life differently now?
Slow it down and spend more family time.
Anything else? What would you...
Travel.
Okay, so if you were going to travel more, let's say you were going to do one big trip to celebrate something, or what would that one first big trip be? Do you think?
Big safari.
On safari, fantastic. Any ideas where, or you not no specific preferences?
No specific preferences, but yeah.
Okay, that's brilliant. Okay, final question of this type then. Imagine you go back to see your doctor, and your doctor this time says that you've only got 24 hours left to live. Now, what would you be thinking about during that 24 hours? What did you not get to see? What did you not get to do? What did you not get to be?
There wasn't more organisation with things left behind.
So, unorganised.
Concerned about the future for dependents. And didn't get to see more of the world.
Okay. So let's think about this in a slightly different way now. I want you to imagine that you and Francis are on safari. In fact, the sun's setting. You're in the Okavango Delta in Botswana, and actually this is the end of a really quite substantial trip. And we might be talking sort of maybe 10, 15 years from now. But you've got your children are running around because they've just had the most amazing day. But you and Francis are sitting there with gin and tonic. Sun setting over a lake, you can see elephants walking, so you can see the reflection of the elephants walking in the lake, and this is just the perfect end to the most amazing holiday in Africa. And the reason that you've taken this trip is to celebrate the fact that you've got to the point where you know that you never have to work again. You've set up all your finances so that you can work if you want to, but actually you've reached financial freedom and you've generated all the money that you need for the rest of your life. How would it feel to be sat there drinking that gin and tonic, having succeeded? Brilliant. Okay, fantastic. What obstacles can you think of that could get in the way between now and then and stop you actually getting to that point?
Health.
Yeah.
Yeah, that probably is the biggest.
No, you can't think of anything else?
And not having the money to have that level of security.
What about, is it just about earning the money, or is it about what you do with it once you've earned it as well?
Yeah, there is in that, yeah.
But other than that, so if you'd earned the money, you'd been sensible with it, and you were all in fit and good health, then that would be fine. Okay, brilliant. So then last question of this time, if we were sat here 9 months from now, looking back, what would we need to have done for you to be happy with the progress that we've made?
Just have greater understanding of things, so have more security in planning.
So just security, but also maybe helped you try to work out how you're going to get to that point on safari. So I suppose we could describe that as build financial plan and implemented. Some, if not all. Okay, brilliant. Okay, thank you for going through that. That's really helpful because I really have a much greater understanding of what you need to do for the future, what we need to do for you. So what I would suggest is, having gone through that process, I think the things that we should be doing for you should be, the first thing we need to do is we need to set up, we need to review the existing investments that you've got, and we need to put some recommendations in place so that you can start to save some of the money that you earn to put towards being able to stop work in the future. To be able to know how much, I think what we've got to do for you is build a lifetime cash flow forecast. What a lifetime cash flow forecast will do is it will allow us to model your life financially, take account of your expenditure, your earnings, different expenses that are likely to happen along the way. And what it allows us to do is to see how much we need to be able to save to retire properly, or indeed look at different scenarios like when you could be retiring given the sort of the way you're approaching things at the moment. So build the cash flow forecast, we identify the new investments to save into. We also need to review that existing pension that you've got and put together an appropriate retirement planning strategy for you. So at that point, we'll have built a financial plan for you that you've got a real clear tracker on. You know if you save this amount of money in the right way and we get the right type of returns, with the cash flow forecast in place, we'll know that we'll be on track to deliver everything that you want to deliver. That's assuming it all goes according to plan though, and obviously there's two things that we need to make sure that might happen, that we need to make sure are addressed if they did ever occur. One is a problem with health, as you already picked up. That's one of the key risks to your family's wealth. So what we need to do is look at making sure that if one of those things did happen, there was sufficient money to offset that to make sure that the plan wasn't completely derailed. And then the second thing in that area is that we need to look at making sure that if even worse happened and one or both of you was to die, then what you want to happen to your money does happen, and also in the most tax efficient way possible. So in summary, what we'd be doing is we'd be looking at the existing investments and pensions, identifying the best way of saving, both with the money you've already accumulated and put aside. We'd be looking at, so making your money work harder for you basically. We'd be giving you clarity on how you do that with the cash flow forecast, and then we'd be making sure that if something unexpected happened, the plan wasn't completely derailed. Does that sound like the sort of thing you'd be looking for?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Well, the fee to do that work would be £1,117. Now that's the fee that's covered by the 100% money back guarantee. Because you've been referred in by Joe Bloggs, you are eligible for our referral discount. So actually that will bring the cost down to £1,017. There's a £100 discount there. If you would like to go ahead with that, what we would need from you is the letter of authority that's signing that's in the pack here. We'll also need a signed declaration, and terms of business. All of that's in there, and I'll write on the declaration the fee, that £1,017. In terms of the process from here on, if you're happy to go ahead, then you can just sign that declaration and tick yes, carry on and proceed. If you want a bit of time to think about it, but you don't want to take the forms away with you because you want to save yourself posting them back, then there's also a box that you can tick to say, I'll let you know within 14 days. But that's fine. Either way, if you're happy to go ahead now, then we can get on and sort out that paperwork. If you want time to think about it, then what we'll do is we'll still follow up this meeting with an email and a letter. In that letter, we will have a summary of the information that's going to be in the plan for you. There'll be included will be an invoice for the plan fee, which needs paying upfront if you want us to do the work. There will be a list of any extra information that, having looked at your file again, that we may need to be able to give you the financial planning that you've asked for. In the email version, there'll also be a hyperlink that you can click through to do a behavioural finance questionnaire.
Yeah.
If you could do that, that would be brilliant, because that means that we can bespoke an investment portfolio for you that's actually in line with your tolerance to risk. And also on the email version, we'll attach electronic copies of these documents here so that you can chuck them paper away if you want to. Any questions with any of that?
Makes sense.
Okay, fantastic. Well, we'll get that email to you in the next couple of days. If you want to go ahead, then we just need those forms back. We'll be then good to go. In terms of time frames, probably because we've got to review an existing pension, it'll probably take us about 3 months to get that plan to you. But what we'll do in the meantime is we'll send you certain other documents that will cover off bits like the estate planning and your tolerance to risk. So you've got something to keep you keep reading in the meantime, so as and when you get a plan, you're in a better position to read it and move forward. But we'll also keep you in the loop as we go, so if we get any problems that's going to extend that time frame a little bit longer, then we'll let you know as well.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
brilliant. Thank you very much for coming in. Nice to see you.